on a second. Let's see what I can. The Resource Development Committee approving project cost savings of $8,280 on the power line project. There's a resolution. Doesn't look like it. It just wants to argue. Okay. All right.
Good morning, Lorraine. This is Delegate Charles Newton. Hello. Morning, Chairwoman. This is Lorraine. Lorraine, just FYI, we have all three of the Law and Order Committee members who are on another meeting. I got off that meeting with the Title II Subcommittee. Honorable Vince James is the chair of that, and Honorable Eugene So is getting ready to introduce I believe it's a suggestion for a legislation, and then Honorable Otto So is also on that call as well. So I think that we're not going to have quorum right away. I'm texting them now to ask them what they want to do. We may have to push this meeting back. I'm not sure how we can do it, but we may have to push this meeting back to possibly 10:30. But I'm texting them right now, and I'm hoping that we'll get a response from them soon. So I'm going to go back on mute, and I'll wait for their text message to see what they want to do, Lorraine. Thank you.
Okay. All right. Thanks.
Honorable Vince James, are you on the line? Shanella, Honorable Vince James, I text you just now. I know that you're chairing the Title II subcommittee, so I did let Lorraine know that we probably won't start until 10:30, so you're okay.
Let me get off the line. No.
Honorable Otto So, Honorable Eugene So, Honorable Vince James, are you on the line?
Go get my hate you, you have got it. From that, we, like, I'm on the pill. ที่ยังไม่เหมือนbut they were here.
Morning, Terrell. Are you on the line?
Morning, Lorraine. Yeah, I am.
Okay. All right. Do you know who else is all on the line?
I'm back
No,
on
I'm
my,
not there.
Oh, okay. All right.
Good morning, Lorraine. This is Hope.
Hi, Hope.
currently on the line, Honorable Otto So, Honorable Eugene So. I know Honorable Vince James just texted and he's still on the Title II subcommittee meeting.
Law and Order Committee Fiscal Year 2021 Budget Overview. In that one that was prepared this morning, what I did is I condensed the larger file that I sent and just made it as it relates to Law and Order. So Law and Order's account number is 101032, Law and Order Committee. In fiscal year 2017, your budget was $98,036.21. You had an expenditure of $88,085.15 for a balance of $9,951.06. In fiscal year 2018, your budget was $103,578 and expended was $49,756.52 for a balance of $53,821.48. In fiscal year 19, your budget was $97,131 with an expenditure of $36,894.86 for a balance of $60,236.14. Fiscal year 20, the report that I sent out to you was dated August 12. You had your original budget was $97,579 with an expenditure of $30,592.64 for an available balance of $68,000. The report and the summary don't quite match up because what happens during the year is you get additional dollars for the IDC carryover. So I'm just basing these numbers off of your original allocation. So your average expenditure per year is around $51,000 when you take into consideration the last 4 years. Now, if you take a look at your expenditure, which is the one that the other file that has Law and Order August 12, 2020, and you compare it side by side with your proposed budget, and I'll come back to the first worksheet in a little bit. Your Form 2, we basically left it all the same, but when we get into your budget, your proposed budget is for
I'm on the line, Vice Chair. Sorry.
Proposed budget is for $64,327. Out of that proposed budget, we're looking at stipends at $11,200. Your current expenditure rate is $6,220. So your projected budget for stipends next year is almost twice as much as what you've expended this year. When you go on to vehicle rental, you have $1,000 in your budget. Your expenditure for this year is $129. For personal travel, for next year, fiscal year 21, I put in there $34,914. Your expenditure for this year is $13,262.94 with an encumbrance outstanding of $3,708.55. So the two combined is roughly $17,000. So the budget that you have for personal travel is double what your current expenditure is. Underneath air travel, I put in $4,000 for next year. Your current expenditure right now is $2,591. So you're about $1,500 higher than your current expenditure for this year. When you look at your proposed budget for office supplies, I put in $2,000. This year you have $14 with no expenditures. Operating supplies, I put in $1,000. You have an expenditure this year of $463. So your proposed budget is actually twice your expenditure for right now. When you go into building and space, I put in $1,000. Right now you have an open encumbrance of $684. So that's kind of aligning with your current expenditure process. When you look at equipment and supplies for next year, I put in $1,000. Right now you have an outstanding encumbrance of $159. So when you go into programs, the current year you have $2,000. For next year, I put in $3,000. You have an expended rate, or you've expended $960.73, and you have an encumbrance of $1,000. So about $2,000, and your budget for next year is $3,000. When you go into media for next year, I put in $2,000. Your current budget has $1,000 with no expenditures. When you go into training and professional dues for this year, you have $1,990, and you had an encumbrance of $435. Your budget for next year is $2,000, so that's 4 times what your current expenditure is. Your workman's compensation for next year is budgeted at $199. I'm sorry, is budgeted for $86. Your current expenditure is $43.43. So that's basically double what your proposed budget is over your current expenditures. Going back to the first sheet, your average expenditure is $51,332.28. Your fiscal year 2021 allocation proposed budget is for $64,327. Your current expenditure, $30,000. So the budget that you have is actually double what your current expenditure is for fiscal year 20. There will also be a carryover request of $30,000. So your adjusted FY 2021 allocation would be $94,327. This isn't accounting for the additional funds that you will get underneath your carryover for IDC carryover. I don't have that number available, but it's usually a few $1,000s that will be added in. So potentially your budget for next year could be anywhere between $97,000 to $98,000. Again, going off of your expenditure, that is much higher than you have historically spent. Your highest spending was 2017, which was $88,000. So even at your highest expenditure level, the budget that you were proposing for the Law and Order Committee is much higher than even when you spent the most at any given time. Madam Chair.
Thank you, Tom. Moving forward, can I ask which committee members so, and I believe Honorable Vince James also text. Honorable Vince James, are you on the line? Honorable Eugene So, are you on the line? Honorable Edmund Yazzie, are you on the line? Okay. Honorable Otto So, are you on the line?
I'm on the line.
Okay. I thought Honorable Vince James was on the line. He texted me. So he's probably still entitled to subcommittee meeting. Okay, so with that, are there any questions for the report that Tom Platero has provided to the Law and Order Committee members regarding the budget for 2020 and also for the upcoming budget in 2021?
I'm good.
Honorable So, can you take the chair up a couple of...
Go ahead. Go ahead, Chair.
Thank you. We do the Law and Order Committee. Can you hear me? Hello?
We can hear you.
Okay. Thank you so much for the presentation, Tom, and should say Honorable Otto So for taking the chair. So just for clarification, the Law and Order Committee currently at this point has $93,555.36. Is that what we have left, or is that what we have spent to date?
No, Madam Chair, that's your total balance on your budget. When you look at budgets, you have to break it up into 2 areas. If you look at your expenditure plan, up on the top two, the $16,180 available, the $1,234 available, those are actually personnel costs. If you don't expend those funds, those will go into the personnel lapse fund. If you look at your budget report, everything from vehicle rental all the way down to insurance premiums, those are your operating costs. Any of those funds that you don't expend will go into a pot. Historically, the council, when they pass their budget, has a provision for a legislative branch carryover. Last year, it was $1.5 million. when everything was completed, what was realized was about $980,000. So even though you make provisions to carry over 1.5 million, when all the books were closed, you were only able to recoup 980,000 or so of those funds. Those are then redistributed at the discretion of the speaker. So in this case, what I'm saying is, I'm recommending the 30,000 to get you back in the 94,000 range. What you don't expend will go back into the pot that will go into the legislative branch carryover budget. Madam Chair.
Thank you for that clarification, Tom. So I know that I did email and I questioned for the supplies that are needed. I know that we did submit a list of supplies last year per your request. I submitted my list 4 times and I never got all of the supplies that I requested. So my question is, in regards to the supplies and the amount of when can we submit our supply list to you? And are there like parameters set of what kind of supplies we can request? And then in addition to that, once we submit the supply list to you, I know that you have to go through the bidding process. Is it best to get it in to you before the end of this month, the list of supplies that are needed from the committee members? That's my first question. The second question is regarding the communication utility. I know that the executive branch has they're called like the Wi-Fi boosters or like the phone boosters, and it actually is a stronger connection for Wi-Fi. Is that something that we can request and get through as part of the? I'm not sure if it's part of the supply or if it's part of the communication and utility. Many of us on the committee, I know that where I live, my internet connection is not that strong, and I did request that through the speaker's office, but I believe we can make that request through one over committee as well. So clarify that information for me. And then the last question is, what can we use these funds for? We didn't really do a lot of traveling in the last few months, and I know that that's part of our budget. We will be doing some traveling here this week as we go through budget session. But if you can provide us some guidance, Tom, on where these funds can be used and how we can go about using these funds, I would really appreciate that. As a committee of the chair, I think we really need to make sure that our committee members are connected at all times and that we can conduct our business and per the code and things like that.
Mr. Fatero?
Yes.
Or
Madam Chair, Delegate, so the question, the way I'm understanding, is who is supposed to process these. Right now, the way the accounts for the standing committees are set up, those are handled all by Office of the Speaker. Right now, the only reason that I'm involved in the budget process is because Speaker's office doesn't have a financial legislative advisor, financial advisor position that's been vacant since Lorenzo Diniazzi left. I'm only trying to help the branch. Normally my role would be to do the OLS budget and the LDA budget, and that would be my part in the entire budget process. But since there's no legislative advisor position over there, I'm helping Speaker's office by coordinating the budgets with all of the legislative branch. I've emailed the chair and the vice chair updates on that process. I'm hopeful that we will complete that process by today at the absolute latest by tomorrow, so that we have ours completed. Legislative branch was the first one to get their paperwork in for the FY 2021 budget. We're still waiting for executive branch to submit theirs, and those are the two that will come to the Navigated Committee. Please understand that our office does not have signature authority for any of the expenditures underneath the standing committee accounts. All of that's handled by Speaker's office. Speaker's office has the position of a legislative financial advisor. They have 3 account maintenance specialists, and I believe they have somebody on temporarily that's assisting, or that's a staff assistant that's assigned to work with finance. I can't sign any of those documents. You have 4 people that are, or 5 people conceivably, that are supposed to be taking care of the delegates. Our side is to take care of committee meetings, all of that process. The legislative process is under OLS. The finance process is all under Office of the Speaker, so you would really need to talk with them. Having said that, the office supplies that you're asking for need to all be handled by the ladies that are across. You have people that have been there for a number of years. We tried working with them, and we couldn't get our stuff through either. So we had to set up our own process over at Office of Legislative Services. So our people got FMIS certified, 6B certified. So now we are able to, I believe, complete all of our own requisitions without relying on Office of the Speaker. You have people over there that are 6B certified, that are FMIS certified, that should be taking care of you all. As far as the communications, again, that is all handled by Office of the Speaker. I can't get a phone unless I go to Speaker's office and request for those materials. They have the authorized person that deals with, I believe, AT&T, Verizon, cellular one that they deal with over there. I'm not an authorized agent on that. You would need to talk to Office of the Speaker staff to handle all of those ones. As far as how you can expend the rest of these funds, I can assist you the best that I can, but I can't sign off on any of those documents to process it. You have staff that are over there that are paid to do all of that, and they need to help the delegates. We have in the past, and even for you, Madam Chair, I process stuff and charge it to OLS to get things completed for you. I've done that in the past, but with the limited funding that we have, I haven't been able to do that again this year. And so in the past, I've had some extra funds that I was able to charge those off to. So it's a different program. The 3 main departments that work for the council, the 24th council, is you have three work units. You have Office of Legislative Services, where we deal with the processing of legislation, facilitating meetings. You have Office of the Speaker, that's mainly your administrative function, that takes care of your time, your PAFs, all of that, and your finance. They are the ones that are given that at some point back, they undertook those and the positions that go with it. And then you have Office of Legislative Counsel, who drafts all of the resolutions for the council. So there's different roles that each of the 3 departments that work for you process these. And so we have to, for my part, I don't, unless I'm given the written authority to do those things, you know, I'm not going to step on somebody's toes and do the work that they're supposed to be doing. It's very difficult when you're on our end and you're trying to help, but at the same time, there's different things that there's other people that are being paid to do those things. Madam Chair.
Thank you for your honesty on that, Tom.
For your response. And committee members, any other questions? For what? Twice?
Honorable Otto So.
Oh, Madam Chair, go ahead.
Thank you. Tom, thank you for your honesty in clarifying this information. I know around budget season, it's always really hard to, get that information on who you send these requests to. So the Law and Order Committee at this time does have to discuss the budget. So when we do make our recommendations, who do we send that to?
Madam Chair, delegates, so when we go into budget hearing mode, that would be the time to discuss it, because at the budget hearing, we will be there, of course. Office of the Speaker should be there, and Office of Legislative Counsel should be there. But like I said, I really can't speak for the other two. I can only speak for Office of Legislative Services. So any recommendations that you give, I believe the appropriate time to have that discussion will be when we go into budget hearing mode. You'll also get another chance when the legislation is discussed to make the recommendation to the Budget and Finance Committee. One of the things that might help you understand is the budget is a multi-tier process. When we go into the comprehensive budget phase, the first phase is the Oversight Committee makes a recommendation to Budget and Finance Committee, which is the resolution that will come before you. So in that, for Nabikia, there's two that are done. There's the departments that are under the legislative branch, and then there are the departments that are under the executive branch. Both of those are passed by the Nabikia, which then recommends the budget to Budget and Finance. Budget and Finance then goes through a whole process where they create the proposed budget for the entire Navajo Nation. So Budget and Finance, in the second phase of the comprehensive budget process, makes a recommendation to the full council. Once Budget and Finance does, so that's the second resolution that will go through. The third resolution is when the full comprehensive budget comes before, again, it goes first to Budget and Finance, then to Nabikia, and then to Council. After the third round, that's when the proposed comprehensive budget is prepared and passed by the Navajo Nation Council. Then, of course, it goes through it's sent to the President. President then has the opportunity to sign it into law, veto it, or line item veto it. So we're barely at the first process of it. During the process of the budget recommendation to Budget and Finance, you'll get a chance to speak. During the process of the creation of the comprehensive budget by the Budget and Finance, the chair and vice chair, according to the resolutions that are passed for each budget program, the chair and vice chair of each committee is allowed to negotiate with the Budget and Finance Committee. When it comes to the final process, the third round, that's when the sponsor and then the full council gets an opportunity to speak on the budget, both at the Nabikia level and then at the council level. So there's multiple opportunities for the council to provide input on the budget. Madam Chair, Delegate So.
Thank you very much, Mr. Otero, for your response. And yes, the inputs will be coming forth when before we get to budget finance, or when we get to budget finance, and then from there at NABI. So I guess these inputs we can talk about then. But at this time, right now, is the first phase of the budget process, and this is what's recommended from the Speaker's office. There's room to change around numbers, and those are those will be disseminated at or will be controlled at NABI, or even at budget and finance committee. So anyway, that's committee members. Any other questions? What? Five times. Okay. And I turn the gavel back over to
Yeah, Shisui, thank you for taking the chair. I'm going to go ahead and call upon the committee members to see who is on the line. Honorable Vince James, are you on the line?
Yeah, Jason, another oak.
Yeah, and welcome, Honorable James. Honorable Eugene So, are you on the line? Honorable Edmund, are you on the line? Honorable Eugene So just text that he doesn't know the number to the Law and Order Committee. Call Lorraine. Can you text him and let him know what the number is? So with that, committee members, since we do have 3 members present, we do have a quorum. We'll go ahead and call this regular meeting to order at 10:58. We'll go ahead and we'll do roll call. Lorraine, can you go ahead and do the roll call for us this morning?
Good morning, Madam Chair and members of the Law and Order Committee. Okay, Eugenia Charles Newton.
Charles Newton is present. I am currently in Hachi.
Vince James.
Mr. President.
Okay.
President. And from Canada.
Eugene So. Otto So.
Present, traveling across Navajo Nation to Winter Rock. Thank you.
Edmund Yasi. Edmund Yazzie. Madam Chair, you have 3 members present.
That's it, Madam Chair, I'm present too, you think so?
Okay.
All right. Yeah,
4
Shajah.
members.
Shajah, where are you at? Are you in Chinle?
I'll be heading to Windrush to drop something. Thank you.
Okay, great. So we are all on the Navajo Nation. So with that, we just got completed with the roll call. There was an invocation provided this morning at the Title II Subcommittee meeting. Honorable Vince James, can you recall who did the invocation? Honorable Otto So, do you know who did the invocation this morning?
Invocation is made by Honorable Rick Nance.
Thank you. I just need it up for the record. Honorable Rick Nance provided an invocation this morning at the 8 o'clock Title II Subcommittee meeting. We'll go ahead and we'll use that invocation since it was done for the day. Honorable Rick Nance, thank you for the invocation. We are on item number 2 on the agenda, recognizing guests and visiting officials. Do we have any other delegates, council delegates who are on the line? Okay, could I ask who do we have currently on the line? Okay, I guess it's just the committee members that are currently on the line. We are on item number 3, review and adopt the agenda. Can I get a motion to adopt the agenda? Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
Okay. Second call, I need a motion to adopt the agenda.
A motion, Vice Chair, so.
Motion made by Honorable Otto So. Can I get a second? Committee members, I need a second to adopt the agenda.
Delegate James, second. Can you hear me?
Honorable Vince James, second. Yes, we can hear you, Honorable James Cash. Okay, so if there's no other questions, comments, or any amendments that need to be made to the agenda, I will call for the vote. Honorable Vince James, how do you vote?
Delegate James, vote green.
Honorable James votes green. Honorable Eugene So, how do you vote? Honorable Eugene So, how do you vote? Honorable Otto So, how do you vote?
I vote green.
Honorable Otto So votes green. Honorable Edmund Yazzie, how do you vote? Honorable Edmund Yazzie, how do you vote? Okay, with that, committee members, we do have 2 in favor, 0 opposed, 3 who are not voting. 1 is the chair, 1 is absent, Honorable Edmund Yazzie, and 1, I don't know what happened to Honorable Eugene So, but he's not responding.
Vote green. Vote green.
Okay, Honorable Eugene So votes green, so we have 3 in favor, 0 opposed, 2 not voting. With that, the agenda hereby passes. We're at item number 4, review and adopt the journal. There is none. Item number 5, receiving reports. We got a report from Tom Platero. There were no questions from the delegates. So at this time, can I get a motion to accept the report provided to us by Tom Platero, Executive Director for the Office of Legislative Services regarding the fiscal year 2020 budget for the Navajo Nation Council Standing Committee?
Motion, Eugene So.
Motion made by Honorable Eugene So. Can I get a second?
Second by Vice Chair.
Second by Vice Chair Honorable Otto So. Okay, we'll go ahead and call for the vote unless there are any questions. And committee members, just to be clear, the documents were sent to us this morning, the budget and also the amount that we discussed on the record. So with the Honorable Vince James, how do you vote?
Delegate James, vote green.
Honorable James votes green. Honorable Eugene So, how do you vote?
Green.
Honorable So votes green. Honorable Otto So, how do you vote?
I vote green.
Honorable Otto So votes green. Honorable Edmund Yazzie, how do you vote? Second call, Honorable Edmund Yazzie, how do you vote? Okay, with that, committee members, we have 3 in favor, 0 opposed, 2 not voting, 1 is the chair, 1 is absent, Honorable Edmund Yazzie. So we are moving down to item B on receiving reports. We do have a report from Harlan Cleveland, the delegated supervisor, regarding the plan on distribution of donations. Mr. Cleveland, are you on the line? Second call for Harlan Cleveland. Is there anybody on the line from Mr. Cleveland's office? Third call for Mr. Cleveland. Okay, so we don't have Mr. Cleveland on the line. I believe that this committee has tried to work with Mr. Cleveland. Do we have Legislative Counsel on the line with us? Hello, do we have legislative counsel on the line with us? Lori, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you. I'm emailing Ron right now.
Committee members, what I'm going to do is the Law and Order Committee, if we are okay with this, we can subpoena Mr. Cleveland. Mr. Cleveland presented before us one time, and that was prior to legislation authorizing his department to take over the donation. And the second time, he, I believe, did not appear. And I believe that at one time he did send his agent, who informed this committee that they would put together a calendar of the donation distribution and also update the committee on the donations that have been made to the Navajo people. And we have yet to receive that report, and we have yet to receive any communication coming from Mr. Cleveland. Honorable Otto So and I did sponsor legislation authorizing his department to proceed forward with the spending of the donations and also the distribution of the donations. But we have not received any communication since then. So if this committee is okay with the action on behalf of the committee, I will proceed forward and ask that he be subpoenaed. This will be the first subpoena that the Law and Order Committee issues, but I don't know how else we can work with the delegated supervisor who refuses to answer to this committee. Committee members, we okay with that? I'm going to open it up for discussion at this time.
Madam Chair?
Honorable Otto So.
Yes, I do agree. That's my first response here. Second, what I would do is maybe just write a letter to Ron requesting a subpoena to be issued, and then from there, Ron's office will begin to work on that process, and subpoena will be issued from there. So just, I guess, work with the legislative office or legislative council. And that's all we would do. Just submit a letter to him and get the subpoena out. Have him get the subpoena out. So yeah, that's all we need to do. Thank you.
Members of the committee?
Honorable, I'm sorry, Ron, is that you?
Yeah, I just got online. I apologize. I was attending to something else. So I caught the very tail end of Delegate So's statement there on a request to Legislative Council. Is it in regards to a subpoena possibly being issued?
Yes, we do need a subpoena issued. So Honorable Otto So recommended that we contact you via email and request that the subpoena be issued to Mr. Harlan Cleveland. This committee has tried to call Mr. Cleveland before this committee, and he has yet to appear. We did request that this committee receive some information on the donations given out to the people, preferably a calendar so that the people would be aware of when the donations were going to be distributed. We have not received any communication from Mr. Cleveland or from his office since we sponsored legislation to actually approve the spending of the donations. So this committee right now feels that we have tried to work with Mr. Cleveland, and he is not working or communicating with the Oversight Committee. So we would like to get some advice on how to proceed forward with a subpoena. Thank you. I'm going back on mute.
Yeah, okay. You're not coming in too clearly, but I'll certainly draft up a subpoena for your signature regarding, from what I understand, is donations and how these donations are being spent, and it will be addressed to Mr. Cleveland. So I can go ahead and start up on that.
Thank you for that, Ron. Committee members, are there any other questions or comments regarding this action? Okay, so with that, Ron, I believe you can go ahead and proceed forward. I think the committee is in agreement that the subpoena needs to be issued to Mr. Cleveland. Thank you.
Sure.
Okay, with that, committee members, we'll go ahead and move down to the next item on the agenda. That is, actually, there is no other items on the agenda. We're on old business. There is none at this time. We're on item number 7 on the agenda, new business. There is none. We're at the close of the meeting, but before we do move to adjourn, are there any announcements?
Question.
Committee members, Honorable Otto, go ahead.
So the budget hearing for our shop will be beginning on the 20th, correct?
Yes, Honorable Otto. So we have a budget hearing scheduled for August 20th and 21st, and then August 24th and 25th. Those hearings will start at 9:00 a.m. I did request to use the council chambers.
Okay.
I did request to use the council chambers in Winter Rock. I am waiting on that request to come through.
This, Madam Chair,
Go ahead, Honorable Otto. So
just one recommendation. I guess, can we go into Saturday? It's possible. Just FYI. That way we could try to get everything done by that morning, because budget hearings are pressing, and 4 days may be okay, but it would be good to have that extra day. And maybe that Saturday, the 22nd, we can go ahead and actually it's this week. So that's where I'm at. FYI.
I think that is a good idea. Committee members, I know that I've already asked you to clear your schedule for budget. I hope that we can clear our schedule for Saturday, the 22nd, which gives us an extra day in the event that I guess maybe not in the event, but as a measure of playing safe, that we have that extra day for budget hearings as well. On that Saturday, I know that we scheduled the 20th, the 21st, 24th, and the 25th, all to be in Winter Rock at that time. Again, I did request you for the council, the council chambers, for us to use it. I believe that that we should be good in getting that. I'm going to verify today. I'm on my way to Winter Rock. So with that, committee members, are we okay with adding August 22nd onto the calendar for budget hearings?
I'm good.
Okay. No response from the committee members, so I'm going to assume that we are all good with that. So Lorraine, can you go ahead and make that adjustment and include on there August 22nd, Saturday, beginning at 9:00 a.m. And again, that will take place at the Chambers in Winter Rock, Arizona.
Okay.
No, Luz Rosa.
Honorable Vince James, is that you?
Delegate James, I was just asking.
Honorable Vince James, I don't know if it's me, but you're cutting in and out.
So you were asking the location of Lewis and Roca. You've already identified the chambers.
Oh, Lewis and Roca is going to be at the chambers on what day?
So now that go ahead and cancel that
Oh, okay.
chambers.
So with Shanala. Okay, so with that, committee members, again, August 20th, August 21st, August 22nd, August 24th, and August 25th at 9 o'clock a.m., we have scheduled budget hearings with our various programs, divisions, and branches that we oversee. So we will be meeting at the chambers at this point. I will get verification today, but we are definitely meeting in Winter Rock in person. We did get clearance for that because there's only 4 active members for the Law and Order Committee. If Honorable Edmund Yazzie does come for the budget hearing, we will still be in compliance because that will be 5. So with that, committee members, that is just the announcement that is going to be made at this time. Again, it is on your agenda list of items. All we have to do is add August 22nd, and Lorraine will go ahead and put that information out there. So with that, committee members, we are now at adjournment. Can I get a motion to adjourn?
Question, sir.
Oh, Honorable Eugene So, go ahead. You have a question?
So we have to be there at the chambers in person, or you going to be there and you're going to be there and then you're going to let the other people take their oath. Thank you.
Honorable Eugene So, so yes, the committee members will be present. If you want to be there in person, we will be at the council chambers, and people will be there to take their oath.
What about you, Seth?
I'm sorry, you're good with that, Shaja?
Thank you.
Okay, yeah. Okay, so I need committee members, motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn, Vice Chair.
Motion made by Honorable Otto So. Can I get a second?
Second.
Honorable Vince James, second. If there's no other comments, questions, announcements, I'll go ahead and proceed forward to the vote. Honorable Vince James, how do you vote?
James votes green.
Honorable James votes green. Honorable Eugene So, how do you vote?
Green.
Honorable So votes green. Honorable Otto So, how do you vote?
Vote green.
Honorable So votes green. Honorable Edmund Yazzie, how do you vote? Second call, Honorable Edmund Yazzie, how do you vote? Okay, with that, committee members, we have 3 in favor, 0 opposed, 2 not voting. That's 1 is the chair and 1 is absent. Honorable Edmund Yazzie. We are now adjourned. It is 11:21. Thank you, committee members, and we'll see you guys, or we'll see you guys on August 20th.
Madam Chair?
Yes, Ron?
Yeah, I'm sorry. I was researching this subpoena thing, and what comes across is the fact that DOJ is in charge of the private donations that we've just been talking about. And I'm not entirely sure if this changes things with Mr. Cleveland. I have Mariana Khan that's been more involved with matters such as this. If it's okay, can I put her on the line and have her explain why DOJ is involved in some of these matters and whether the subpoena is necessary for Mr. Cleveland?
Ron, just so you know, we passed legislation, and Harlan Cleveland's office is in charge of the donations, not DOJ. DOJ used to be in charge of it, but once we passed that legislation, it was transferred to Harlan Cleveland and his office.
Okay, thank you then.
You're welcome. And when I get to Window Rock, I can pull up the legislation, and I'll be happy to send that to you all. But I believe we passed that during summer session. Honorable Otto So was the co-sponsor, and I was the sponsor on that legislation.
Oh, okay. That would be helpful. Thank you, Madam Chair.
You're welcome, Ron. So with that, committee members, we are hereby adjourned at 11:23. Again, we'll see you all on August 20th. Be safe out there. Bye.
Which money they're talking about?